order. Yes. Okay. So, guys, we are going to talk about conversations tonight, about talking to people, about tips and tricks and what to say and when to say and all of that stuff. In my 6 years of coaching, I find that there's two things that hold people back from success in this business. One is they're just not having conversations or taking action, period. Or two is that they are taking all the action and they're not seeing results. And if that's the case, then I would say 99.9% of the time, it's because your conversations are not going well. And so that's why you're not seeing results. And I think that we used to do a really good job of like kind of having maybe a training about this like once a month on conversations and how to use the conversation template and all of that stuff so that you I'm going to just mute people and like Megan, you guys, when you talk, you can just unmute yourself just because it's a little distracting. All right. So, I just got totally distracted and sidetracked. But basically we used to do it because, it's just something that it's always there. And we always had all these like acronyms and things that we were talking about that everybody on the team knew about because we talked about these things so often because there's such a common thread of mishaps that happen when you're having conversations as a new coach. One is vomiting. So when you are a brand new coach, you tend to be really excited, or it's like you just can't stop talking because like you feel like you have to like, I don't know, like it's almost like in person where it's like awkward if somebody's not talking. You're doing the same thing like in your messenger. Like you just keep talking and talking and talking. You're like trying to sell it because you're so excited about it rather than just sharing and asking questions and things of that nature. The other one, number 2, is what we call shanking it. So if any of you guys play golf, you know what shanking the ball means. It's when you go to hit the ball and it does not go straight. It goes like this, right? So that's what you're doing with your conversations. The conversation's going really well. You guys have somebody right there that's like ready to be served, that wants what you have. And then you take the conversation elsewhere. And so they like get lost, overwhelmed, don't know what's happening. And so they're off over here now. And it's hard to get the conversation back on track. The other thing that tends to happen is because you're brand new, you're lacking a little bit of that confidence. And this isn't just brand new coaches either. I know I keep saying that, but that's just because these are the most common for brand new coaches. But the other thing that seems to happen is that you're spending too much time trying to relate to them to the point where the conversation becomes a little bit too much about you, and that you are relating to things that you should be turning around and standing out as their coach and having confidence on. Like, we can fix that for you. Or, yeah, I experienced that too, but this is how I changed it. And instead it becomes just like, yeah, that happens to me too, right? Because you're just trying to have that like friendly banter back and forth. And the last thing is that you are following the conversation template too much to a T. And so you sound like a freaking robot because you're just like copy and pasting stuff and you're not actually spending time having a conversation. You're literally like interviewing them like a robot. Okay. So those are like did I say 4 or 5? I think those are like the 4 or 5 different things, whatever, that people do. We're going to talk also on this call. I've got some helpers. They're going to help me out. We're going to talk too, just like about follow-up and objections and those sorts of things, you guys. But you can all jump in and throw in the chat when you have questions and all of that jazz, because that's what this is here for, right? Like, we want to help you with your conversations so that you start succeeding in this business, because when you succeed, your team succeeds. When your team succeeds, the entire team succeeds, and we all like work together. And the more you know, like, about what you're doing wrong, the easier it is to fix it, right? Like, we can't fix something if we don't even know what's wrong in the first place. Why, when you go to the doctor, they start giving you all of these tests before they can give you medicine, right? Because like, they don't want to just give you, antibiotics if you stubbed your toe. Like, there's different things that we got to figure out before we give a prescription. So that's what we're going to start with. I have a couple of conversations that I've asked some very polite people to allow me to share if I need to. We'll see if I want to start using examples or if we can just jump in and start talking. So we can do this one of two ways, you guys. We can either just pick a topic and go with it, or we can have people start asking questions now about conversations or tell us what you're struggling with. Or how about this? Everybody right now, go tell me the number one thing that you think you struggle with in your conversations in the chat bar right now. Can I have a seltzer, Ray? Lime. Put the lime in the coconut.
Something that a lot of my new coaches have been asking me about, and not necessarily because they've encountered it right away, but they will, is what do I do when people don't respond to my messages, or I can see that they saw them and haven't written back. And that is when you keep talking to them until they talk back to you. Just keep following up, because that's what a good coach would do. If you just talk to them once and then run away, one, that doesn't look like a very good coach. You're not going to be persistent and like actually there for them when they need you. But two, it comes off as super salesy, like you're just trying to get something from them, and then you're never going to like check back with them to see how they're doing, or talk about their kid's concert or like something like that. So I will follow up with them again, like, hey, not sure if you saw my message. Actually, I am. Or send them a funny GIF like that guy on the skateboard that's like half naked or whatever, just be silly. And a lot of times they're going to respond to that. But a lot of times I will just go and like kind of start from scratch and like and comment on their page again, or just send them a message about something that is totally not related to your invite or fitness and health. Lots of comments.
All right, 21 people in here, and I've got 10 comments. I need more. Guys, gotta be struggling with something. Go, go, go. Tell me something. And if it has nothing to do with conversations, ask something. I want 21 comments in there. All right, just post that. Okay. And I will get cranky. We'll go cranking on these while we wait for more. Guys are going to jump in there, right? Combating objections, Katie said. Amy, creating enough value. Rachel, transitioning from a convo to an invite. Carrie, timing. Tend to word vomit. Then I think of someone rather than planning out what to say. Think of, I'm not sure what you're saying right there. Emma, same as Rachel, convo to invite. Okay. Jessica, when you ask the open-ended questions, but you get 2 to 3 word answers. Okay, so you feel like you're pulling teeth. Kaylin, money objection and transitioning to invite after connection. Lindsay, reaching out to people I don't know, donuts. Lauren, convo to invite and objections and saying it is too much money and challenge pack. Okay. Amy, knowing what they need based on what they say. Okay. Shaylee, inviting them to challenge group. They say, yes, I want more info. What do I say next? Lindsay, I'm too old. Ryan's 42. I love how I always use Ryan. I'm like, he's fucking old as dirt. Like, he's doing just fine. Chrissy, everyone keeps telling me they don't have the money. They just keep asking me, how much does it cost? Ghosting, money objections. Okay, guys, I love it. They're all good things. And what you're seeing here is patterns, and you're seeing similarities, right? And I think it's really, really important to note that, just because you see a coach that's more successful than you are currently, it does not mean that they're just getting a bunch of yeses. Okay. It does not mean that they just go on their inbox daily and they've got all of this whole entire inbox filled with like, I want to join your team and coach. I would love to be a challenger in your challenge group. Please sign me up with your biggest pack. Like, that's just not how it works. Like, literally, if you went through my messages in my inbox, you'd be like, holy shit, she talks to a lot of freaking people, and a lot of freaking people do not respond back to her. And that is the biggest difference right there. So number one, if you're feeling like everybody is saying no, or if you're feeling like all you're getting is objections, one of the things that you need to do to fix that is talk to more people. Okay, so hands down, that's probably one of the biggest things that you need to do is start talking to more people. Like, way more than you think you need to. Like, I'm not talking 50 a day. I'm talking like a lot. Like, talk to a lot of people, throw your fear to the side, and just start talking to people. Okay, so that's number one. But number two, if you're getting a lot of objections, for those of you who are getting objections, I want you now to type in the chat and tell me when you're getting the objection. Is it when you've talked challenge pack or recommendation, or is it before you've even talked about like fitness goals and things like that? Like, when are you getting it? Jill, if the same people are liking your posts, you need to add friends to your Facebook and you need to start following new people on Instagram so you can grow your audience. There's only 4 aces in a deck of cards, right? So you can't just flip through that same deck of 52 people and keep finding more aces. Close to the end, you get objections, Amy. Okay. After the share cart, says Carrie. When we talk challenge pack and price, says Lauren. Okay. I get it after I send the share cart and they look at the price. After the price. Okay. After sending the okay. So you're all saying the same. So you're seeing pattern there, right? So when they balk at the price, what is your reaction to that? Are you saying, oh, okay, like, what could you afford? What are you saying after that? I know this is a very interactive call. I'm just making you guys do work. What is your budget? Okay, here's the thing. If you are getting most of your objections about price after you've gotten to the point where you've sent the cart, I'm guaranteeing you, if we looked back through your conversation, that you went way too quickly through those questions and you either followed the template and just went boom, 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 and got to the questions and sent, and didn't like relate enough to them, or you were not explaining to them why you were recommending these things to them in the first place and why it was going to solve their problem. It's all about building that value. So at times, like in this, like that's what I was saying in the beginning, is that we really want to make sure that we're showing them how this is going to help them. Caitlin, I say the price depends on your goals and how quickly you want to reach them. Then start with the questions. Yes, that's a great way. And are you finding you get probably less objections? Yeah, exactly. So when somebody says to you, when somebody says to you that they want to lose weight, like the next thing should be asking more questions about that, right? Like, how long have you wanted to lose the weight? How much are you looking to lose? What have you done in the past to lose that weight, or have you, been able to in the past? And then you get into those questions with them, right? And then you start asking them more questions. It's all about the questions that you're asking. So what do you eat in a typical day? And then I am actually going to use, Amy, are you okay with me using yours? Okay. I'm going to use an example for you guys, and then we can move forward from there. I need to share my screen. Share my screen. Share. Because I do feel like when you're able to see somebody else's conversation, even if it's your own, you can learn from that. Okay, so. All right, so this person wrote to Amy, okay? And she said, I just remembered you leave on the 3rd. So bummed to see you go. Awards night won't be as fun without you. Hope you and the fam enjoy the extra snuggles. I'll also be messaging you soon on the workout nutrition plan you've been on. I'm super interested. So she messaged back, yes, you should. You'd love it. I know I'll miss the get-togethers too, but you soccer girls are killing it this year. Congrats on your achievement. Now, luckily, this person did continue asking questions, but what do you guys think Amy should have ended this particular paragraph with?
What are you working on for health and fitness goals?
A question, exactly. Because you want to keep that conversation going. So yeah, I'd love to have you in the group. I'm so glad that you're interested in doing it with me. Like, what are your goals, right? So that's how you move into that. That's how you transition. Oh, crap. We're going to go this way. Whoops. There we go. All right. So that's how you transition that. So she actually said it, which is great. Thanks, girls. So what does this regimen or lifestyle or whatever, LOL, entail? I need to shed like 10 to 15 pounds and my gut is a mess from my IBS and food allergies. So she says, okay, tell me more about your allergies. What are you allergic to and how long have you been dealing with the IBS? Great question. So since 2012, and I'm allergic to whole grain wheat. No, not a gluten thing. And I had an awful allergy to dairy when I was a kid. It's for sure coming back, but cheese is half my diet, LOL, and I refuse to give it up. But I try to limit nowadays, but I wouldn't need a non-dairy diet. Basically, my diet is usually just no carbs and it helps my stomach. But lately I've said, fuck it. And my gut is a mess. I've gained 12 pounds and feel so tired all the time. And it's just gross. Okay. So there's a couple different things that we can do with this conversation, right? But the gist of it is that we want to know more and we want to assure her. So we want to assure her at the same time that we can help and then ask more questions, right? So it's like, it's not just like relating like, oh, that sucks. Like, I've felt like that too before and things like that. It's like, okay, I can see what's going on and I can definitely help you with this type thing. So you have that confidence behind it. Okay, so we definitely can help you out. I know you said a lot of carbs lately and definitely cheese, but walk me through a typical day of eating, like what and when. So what and when? So we'll usually skip breakfast. For lunch, I mean, as you know, I can't really sit down and eat a whole meal. So usually a salad or some lunch meat or a burger with no bun or something if I'm being good. Now that's if she's being good, right? So we want to know like, no, what are you actually eating right now? You just said you want to lose 10 to 15 pounds. So what are you eating? So then for dinner, usually some of the same things that I had for lunch. Where'd that go? I got a rotisserie chicken a lot and kind of pick off that. I've just been eating really bad lately. Like it seems the second I have any kind of carbohydrate, I gain 10 pounds in like 2 weeks. I'm not even kidding. My whole life I've yo-yoed with my weight. I'm typically within 130 to 140, but I'm probably definitely pushing 140 right now. 130 is where I'm comfortable. Anything below that, she feels too skinny. She doesn't really drink alcohol, etc. So Amy's response. So food allergies and inflammation definitely play a role in that, but we can get you eating carbs on a regular basis in achieving your goals. Are you open to recommendations? She said eating carbs regularly scares her. So my point with that is that the reason we're going to talk to her about her nutrition and eating carbs regularly is because she's starving herself and not giving herself those carbs, she's binging and eating the shit carbs, right? And then she's feeling like crap because she just put stuff that causes inflammation into her body. So you kind of have to know behind scenes like what you're thinking and where you want to go with the conversation so you can know why you're asking that question in the first place, and so that you can turn around and tell her that and help her. That's adding value. So how do you do with carbs from like fruits and vegetables, like sweet potatoes? She does great. She loves fruit. And then Amy shanked this a little bit right here, and she's okay with me saying this. I already asked her before we got on the call if I'm okay with using her as an example. But she shanked this wicked hard by saying, it's hard watching your body not respond the way it once did. I guess this is 30. No, it's not 30. It's that she's putting stuff into her body that is causing inflammation, and her body is not functioning properly because she's not fueling it properly. So as a coach, we want to make sure that she knows that it's not her age, that it's not her age at all, that it's something that we can help her with and create something that's more of a sustainable plan for her, right? That's how we build the value and show how we're going to help her. And then she said her tongue feels funny when she eats certain fruits, so she stays away from them. And then now she's blaming it on her age too. Okay. So we put that in her head. Now she's going to blame it there too. And then, all right, what are you doing for exercising? And she says she's not, but she wants to, but she's busy. She's got blended family, kiddos to take care of, all of that jazz. Could you schedule in time at home a few times a week? And then she said, yes. And then she said, I'm a girl that strives with routine and structure. Yay. I can provide you routine and structure. I can provide you a no-brainer plan that you literally just click on every single day and it tells you exactly what to do, right? So that's where I would have hit home really hard here with her, is like, oh girl, I got you then. Like, I can give you a meal plan. I can give you exactly what to do with the calendar to work out. Like, I have got you. And then I would have started digging into what kinds of workouts that she's done in the past or what she enjoys. And I'd ask her if she's open to weights, because that's actually not about being your age. It's about a loss of muscle mass, which happens by inactivity and not fueling your body right. So the second that you start putting on that muscle mass again, you're going to up your metabolism, which means that you're going to get results, and I can help you do that. That's how I'm building value in this conversation. I know it seems like I'm beating a dead horse with this, but guys, that's how you stave off the objections at the end, is by giving that value up front. So she says if she has a schedule, she'd achieve it. I also set goals and make sure that I get to them. Awesome. And she just needs that first push. Again, here is where I'm going to talk about how I'm your coach. I'm going to push you at first. I'm going to check in with you. I'm going to put you in my accountability group. You're going to get extra motivation and accountability in there too, because you're going to see other people. Again, building that value. Now we've solved all of her problems, right? That is what the conversation is about, solving their problems. So she says she's an awful typer. And then so Amy says, what do you do for workouts, weight, body strength? What are your physical goals? Well, she already told you she wanted to lose 10 to 15 pounds. So those are her physical goals. But then she sends a picture and says this is what she wants. I don't want big arms. I feel like dainty but lean feminine arms. I have a lot extra now. Skin from where I had my C-section. I'd love to tighten up my bum. This is where, okay, so instead of just jumping right back into another question, again, this is where you're going to add value, but you're also going to, the word isn't comfort, like assure them or whatever, but like educate them. Like, it's actually very, very difficult for women to put on weight. We do not, with muscle, we do not have testosterone. So when we start lifting weights, we actually just get super tight, toned, lean. We look tiny and small, even though we're strong. It takes men hours and hours in the gym lifting very heavy weights, taking a lot of supplements and eating like 5,000, 6,000, 10,000 calories a day to look the way that they look to get that muscle. You're not going to have that. Promise. Here's what we're going to do for you, right? So then we get that in there, and then how much time do you think you could spend? Okay. And then they tell us that. And then she says probably close. Then she said she could work out every day. And then she says probably 30 to 45 minutes. Are you open to suggestions? Love that question, because you've already had a conversation with her. So it's great to get that added yes. The more yeses you get in the conversation, the better. And then she says, what does that entail? And then, you gave her a description of the group. And so then she says, okay, so what do the workouts look like? And that's where you say, well, based on your goals of X, Y, and Z, I would recommend A or B to you. So I think, Amy, where you went a little astray in this conversation is you didn't really talk to her about why you were recommending these particular programs for her and which one you're leaning towards for her. Instead, you just sent her a couple links. And so she just went and watched them, right? Or maybe didn't watch them, but went and watched them. Let's assume she went and watched them, right? So like, if it were me, I would have said, awesome. Well, based on all your goals, you've said X, Y, and Z, and you like structure. I think we really need to get you going with either 21-day fix real time if you want to keep it around 30 minutes, or I would like to put you into 80-day obsession, which is about an hour. Some of the workouts are closer to 50 minutes. And I know that's a little bit longer than what you said, but it has time nutrition. It's going to tell you exactly what to eat. It's going to give you those containers that you can eat out of. It's going to give you a workout to do every single day that you're not going to get bored with. We're going to get you to your goals, but take a peek at both of them. They'll both get you to your goals, but tell me which one you're leaning towards, right? And then I would send her the 2 links. After that, I come back with, they're only 2 minutes long. Did you check them out? And she'll say, yes. And I say, great. Which one are you leaning towards? And then they tell me. And then I say, awesome. That's what I was thinking too, because of X, Y, and Z. Right? So she does look at them eventually. She does say she's thinking the 21-day fix one. And then she says to Amy, what do you think? And so because Amy didn't explain to her in the first place why she was recommending them, that's why she's asking that. And then she says, I love that one. And then after you are done, you could always do lift, because she's told her that she could do both of them. She's getting both of them, and then immediately jumps into flavor of Shakeology. And then she asks about wheat in the Shakeology. She asks about price in the of the pack. And then, so what's your email? I'll get you the price. I'll get you a price for the base challenge pack and then the one that comes with the nutritional guide too. Okay, thanks. Here's the thing. I never really separate those, you guys, because you do get access to the meal plans no matter what, right? So she could always just buy the extra containers and follow the meal plan. Or if she was going with 21-day fix, she's going to get the containers anyways. And so I would say it's $160 for your challenge pack. And like you get a year access to all of the workouts that we've ever put out, plus our cooking show, plus the meal plans, plus me as your coach, plus access to my group for extra motivation. We're going to have you follow that schedule. We're going to get you to your goals. You're going to feel great. I give those added things at the end, right? Because I'm just reassuring her that it's going to work for her. So then she says, okay, cool. She hasn't gotten the price yet, right? So then you give her the email. She gives you her email. And then you say, 1 year subscription for all the workouts and a month of your shakes, $160. If you want the nutrition plan, it's $200. So now she's thinking that she has to get the $200 plan if she wants any help with her nutritional needs. And then she says, okay, I'll look at my email later. And then down here, she says, she didn't choose a selection of flavor yet. So you resend those to her, but then follow up again. And here's like a little added pressure of like, I want to get you started right away. So it was almost like jumping the gun a bit. And then she feels pressure, doesn't see the value, doesn't think that she can get it for less than 200 and says, okay, I think I'm just going to do this instead. Thanks for reaching out. I'll reach out to you later if it changes. Right. So she lost the sale and she didn't lose it. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. She can always go back to it. Right. But and then there was no rebuttal on that either. So like when she got that objection, I would have been like, whoa, 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 girly. Like, we just talked about all of this and this is what you want to achieve. Like, what's holding you back? And I would have asked that question to go a little bit further to figure out what's actually holding her back so I can go back to the things that she told me in the beginning and explain to her why this is the solution. So, does that all make sense? Was that helpful for me to go through that? Okay. The basics are there, right? It's slight, teeny, tiny tweaks. It's adding in confidence. It's adding in that value. It's adding in that reassurance. Those are the only things that you really need to do. And then it's combating the objections. But you won't really get as many objections if you're doing that stuff in the first place. Okay. Who else wants to talk? I've talked too much.
I was just going to say, as you were going through that, asking one really important question that I didn't ask when I first started, but that I started adding in is, like, what have you tried before? What worked? What didn't work or whatever? Because then a lot of times people will spill, like, I went to the gym for 6 months, or I paid for a gym membership for 6 months and I never went. Ask another question. How much were you paying for that gym membership every month? Or like, I totally did that. And so I would tell people like, oh my gosh, I know, like I spent $30 a month and I never set foot in there. And I was too embarrassed to go. It was a 30-minute drive for me to go just to cancel it and like share that stuff with them. But when you add it all up, so I was paying $30 a month, like this is 160. That was for 6 months. This is for the entire year. Plus it involves nutrition. So like just tying some of those things in and posting about that stuff, I think is super, super important. Like, I used to pay this much and not go to the gym or not have nutritional guidance or whatever's true for your story. But I think those comparisons are super powerful because so many people are like, oh, I'm just going to join Planet Fitness. One of my new coaches, I think, we were just chatting about, I think it was Planet Fitness or one of the ones that says that it's like $10 a month or whatever. There's so many like hidden fees and stuff like that. And again, they're not addressing nutrition and everything like that. I would say post and talk about that kind of stuff a lot as well.
Planet Fitness has pizza on Fridays.
What? I'm going to join Planet Fitness.
The no judgment zone that keeps you fat so you keep coming back. So I think somebody else said on here in the chat, inviting after unrelated conversations, or many of you said transitioning them, right? So let's talk about that for a second. So transitioning your conversations doesn't have to be hard, you guys. If you've been talking about your baby, if you've been talking about your dog, if you've been talking about a vacation that they went on or something of that nature, you can finish up with that conversation and don't expect yourself to have to invite that time, right? I would go into the next conversation of, girl, I was just thinking about our conversation the other day and I like just think that you have such an awesome vibe. I would love to have you in my group. I'm not sure if you've seen any of my posts, but like any health and fitness goals, like, and then if you're doing your job and showing up on social media daily with your fitness plan and what you're doing, they're going to know what you're talking about. That's not going to come out of the blue. They're going to be like, oh, you know what? I haven't, or I have, but I didn't say anything, or, like something like that. I can't tell you how many times I've invited somebody and they're like, well, that's funny you ask. I was actually just thinking about you the other day. That happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So you can transition it that way. Or sometimes, you guys, if I know that it's somebody that I've talked to like a bunch of times and they go and they like something, like for instance, the post about like the dresses that I put up yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was just comparing dresses and asking people for their opinion, which obviously I got like 100 comments on. Like everybody wants to give you their opinion about which dress you should purchase. But it's like, how do I transition that into Beachbody coaches or into challengers? And here's how. If it's somebody that you've had like you've had talks with before, if it's somebody that you've invited before, if it's somebody that you actually were in the midst of like talking goals with and things like that, right? What you do is you comment back and you go, oh my God, thank you so much for the vote. Like totally going with 3 and 5. Apparently that's what everybody likes. I like them all, but like, thanks for the vote. P.S. More importantly, when the heck are you joining my group? Like, why you make it hard? Like, just P.S. when the heck are you joining my group? Or if somebody likes the picture of your dog, like, oh my God, George is so freaking cute. Thanks so much for the love on that post. But P.S. like, you joining me already? Or like, more importantly, dude, when are you joining my group? Like, that's all you do. And then people are like, I know. And then you get into that conversation. It's a little starter into the convo. It doesn't have to be like, so I've been thinking about you and I'm really scared to talk to you about this. Like, do you want to join my group? Have that excitement with it.
For me, sometimes thinking about like real life interactions, like would you just run up to somebody in the grocery store and be like, hey, so I'm starting this challenge group in a week and I was wondering if you were working on any goals? Like, no, you would have a normal conversation with them. And then either at the end, if it feels right, or the next time you run into them, be like, hey, I meant to mention to you last time we got together, I'm doing this thing. A bunch of ladies are doing it with me. Like, do you want to do it too? That's not weird. But I sometimes literally have to like picture myself in that social situation to be like, okay, Mariah, don't be a weirdo. Like, act like a normal human.
Yeah. Chili said, inviting them to challenge group. They say, yes, I want more info. What do I say next? What I say next is, awesome. It's a group that's all about like support, motivation, accountability. It's super fun. We post like sweaty selfies. We'll do giveaways. We have like little challenges and stuff like that. It's a great way to like stay fit and have fun, but have the convenience of doing it at home. Like, what are your health and fitness goals? You just literally turn it right back around into their question and into a question for them. And these days I've actually even changed that a little bit too. And I'm just like, awesome. What's your email? And they give me their email. And then from email, I send them that little blip about like what the challenge group is about. The same one I've always used, the same one's in the conversation template in the file section of the team page. And then under it, I say, what are your goals? Fill out this health assessment form that I've created if you don't mind. And then I'm getting all of those answers to all of my questions too before we even start. And I can hone in on the struggle areas when I talk back to them, when I reach back out to them after they've done it. So that's another way to do it. But yeah, that's all I do is I tell them what the group's about real quick. It's a quick blurb. And then I ask them what their goals are. I'm pretty sure that Megan, Katie, and Mariah all do the same exact thing. Knowing what they need based on what they say. So Amy, when you say that, are you talking like about what program to recommend, or are you talking, go ahead. Oh, you can just talk. You don't have to type it in. That's fine. My mic still isn't working. Oh, sorry. I'm talking about keeping the flow, I guess, of the conversation based on what they've said. Well, if you've gotten your answers to like their nutrition and to their workouts and to their goals, and you've dug deeper sort of in those things, like you don't need to feel like you need to make conversation. That's the point where you can just ask them if they want a recommendation. You can talk to people after they sign up. Like, it's not like after they sign up, you're just like, great, I'll talk to you like in a week when you get your shit. Like, you can talk to them and be friends with them still, like even after they put their money in. And so like, get to the point first and then go from there. Okay, these are objections after you said that. Timing, tend to word vomit. So for anybody who's word vomiting, I would say that it's more so like start thinking of what don't you know about them rather than trying to give them information, right? Like, so start asking them questions, being interested rather than being interesting. The second you start talking too much and you start to try to sell them on something, the second they peace out. You need to start asking them about them. Everybody wants to know what's in it for me. Everybody's favorite radio station, WWIFM. What's in it for me, right? So you want to make sure that you are asking them questions about themselves. People love talking about themselves. Oh, how about the pulling teeth one? Yeah. So that sucks when somebody is just like giving you one word answers. But in that case, like if it's like, I mean, I've had people do that to me that then turn around and purchase. So it is weird because some people are just like that. But, I would just keep probing them until they get to the point where they're like open enough because they clearly aren't feeling like so comfortable yet giving the information that maybe you even say something to them along that line. Like, I know I'm asking you like a bunch of questions about this, but I just wanted to make sure that I could recommend the right program for you to get you to your goals. Like, I just want to make sure we get you started with something you love, or I just want to make sure that this group is like a really good fit for you before like we get you in there. And if they're not opening up after that, but if they're still giving you answers, like you can always still keep going. But it is harder to like relate and have like a flow. I get it. It's not an easy conversation. But then sometimes too, I take that as a sign that it's not my people and I move on.
I have a couple things that I've been doing, if you don't mind me, I chime in.
Yeah, chime in.
Just like little tweaks after another group shared kind of a conversation template. But one, when you're asking about goals, I've been adding like, tell me about the health goals that you have for you and your family. Because let's face it, like most of us, like as women, have kids, families, like other people in the household that we are um, eating with and we're around, and they're going to be seeing us work out or whatever. So that can tie it into, I guess, give it more of an emotional tie. Like, okay, so we're talking about not just you, but your family too. And then, like the open-ended questions, like we do with our goals, what are your health and fitness goals, whatever. And they tell you something and kind of like repeat it back, but ask what else. Okay, what else? You want to lose 15 pounds? Okay, what else? Okay, why? Why? And keep asking what else. And I say the same, like, I know it seems like a lot of questions, but I want to be able to make sure that I make the best recommendations for you. And then also asking, what do you already know about what I do? Because it keeps me from word vomiting on them too. So like, do you know, like, what do you know about what I do, or, you know, Beachbody or whatever. And that helps me kind of give a, or get a baseline as far as knowing what they do. And because I always found it hard to be like, yeah, sure, tell me, you know, tell me about it, or what program are you doing, or what is your boot camp all about. And so it just gives me a little bit of background on them as far as what they know, and then go into talking about what their goals are for them and their families, and then digging a little bit deeper, because I find that helps with the objections, being proactive about showing them the value in what we have and how it's going to help them reach the goals for them and their family, versus being reactive when they have come at you with an objection and trying to not battle it, but answer their objection once they come up with it, versus showing them value in the first place.
Yeah. I think those conversations, Meg, that you and I put in the files section of the team are still there. And those are really good examples too, you guys, of like live actual conversations that like Meg and I had that, you know, we got like every objection in the book and still made it through. So take a peek at those too. Shaylee, is this conversation with Daisy something, the one you were talking about? Yes. Okay, hold on. Let me share my screen. You guys, I don't know if you saw that in the chat. She just asked if I could pull up this message real quick. All right, everyone can see that? Hey, a bunch of my girlfriends and I have decided to come together and really focus on getting our shit together this year by working out and eating better. LOL. I think you'd fit right in. We'd benefit from being right there with us. What do you say? Hey, girl, yes, I'm down. Awesome. So I help run an accountability group on Facebook, and we have daily check-in. All right, so here where she said, yes, girl, I'm down, I wouldn't have gone into this particular thing. I would have asked her what her goals are. So she's not asking what, sorry, guys. I don't know who unmuted themselves, but if you could mute yourself. Ow. Or I'll just mute all. I just muted Ellery. I don't know who that is. And I don't know how this like writing just happened on my screen either, but that's cool. So yeah, at that point, that's not the point where you add that. She's not asking what the challenge group is. She said, yeah, I'm down. So at that point, I'd just be like, awesome. What are your goals? That's the only thing I would have written back to her. Does it keep going? Hold on. Yes. And so you told her what the group was about, asked her goals. She said, I want to lose weight. Right now I do CrossFit with my sister and trying to stay away from sugar and gluten. How do you like CrossFit and how much weight are we talking? I want to lose like 20 pounds and it's good, really hard. I just feel like it's too much for me sometimes since I'm coming back from having the baby. Sounds hard, that's for sure. How old is your baby? 6 months. Okay. So instead of saying, how do you like CrossFit? You want to ask better questions, right? How is CrossFit working for you? What you're gonna find most of the time when you ask people how CrossFit is working for them, many times they'll say they love it, but they're not seeing results. And they're not seeing results because either A, they're not going, or B, they're eating like shit, right? Or it's too much for them and then they injure themselves. So And then asking how much weight, that's fine. So she said, I want to lose 20. It's really good, but it's hard for her. And so it sounds like it's too hard for her right now. And you just say, it sounds hard. That's for sure. How old is your baby? So instead of saying it sounds hard, what if we change that to, well, it actually might be too hard for you if you just had a baby. Like, were you working out before that? Had you done CrossFit before you were pregnant, or, in the beginning of your pregnancy? What are you used to doing for workouts? Right? So then we're asking better questions so we get better answers. And then she says he's 6 months, and you say, are you breastfeeding, and what do you struggle with? And so also, like, this is like jumping right into another, question, which feels a little like I was saying before, like a little jagged. And what do you struggle with most nutritionally? And then you said, sorry for all, where is it? Sorry for all the questions. I'm trying to align you with something that will guarantee you results. And she's all good, girl. And yes, I am. Nutrition, I struggle with not eating breakfast. And then I get hungry later. I eat bad carbs like chips and corn tortillas. That probably are the worst thing. Just right now that I'm breastfeeding, it just seems like I'm really hungry. Okay. So, oh my God, I can totally relate. I ate so much when I was pregnant, constantly hungry, LOL. So why don't you eat breakfast? Okay. So here, it's really important, you guys. I think that we educate ourselves just like a little bit more so that when we are resonating and sharing and trying to like have this conversation, that we're also like informing. It's like we're having we're having an informing conversation, if that makes sense. So when she says she just feels like she's hungry all the time, it's because she's burning 500 calories more a day because she's breastfeeding. And she's probably eating some like cracked out diet plan that she thinks that she's supposed to have like 1,200 to 1,500 calories because that's what everybody tells you to do to lose weight, right? And then she's adding CrossFit onto it, which she just said is too hard for her. So when she said that, she was breastfeeding and she's starving, my first reaction is, yes, you could say I can totally relate, but it could be like, maybe you're not eating enough, and then I would say that you're burning 500 extra calories a day. Like, tell me a bit more about what you're eating. And, and then you can ask that question too. So like, why are you skipping breakfast? Like, what's your biggest struggle there? And she said, yeah, for sure. LOL, I'm always in a hurry and tired of waking up with baby. I feel no energy to make myself something. Yeah. She's probably she's probably in way too much of a caloric deficit, and she's exhausted because she's a baby that's not really sleeping, most likely. So, okay, do you have a midday crash, or are you just tired in the mornings? I'm really tired in the mornings, and then after work around 4 or 5. Okay, sounds like this could be caused by nutrition. So you did start going there. I know you do CrossFit, but I want to send you a sample of the bar class I'm doing right now. I've already gotten great results, and I just started week 3. It's a lot different from CrossFit, but I know you'll love it. So this is a little bit more about you than it is about her. So you are including things about her, but it's like, I love it. This is why you should do it. Instead, instead of just doing one program too, we always recommend 2. Like, always recommend 2 different things that would work well for them based on their needs. So I would say, I know you're doing CrossFit and you said that was a little bit too hard for you. What have you done for workouts in the past that you've enjoyed? And then I would move forward from there. Everybody's looking down, so I'm not sure if anybody's even hearing me or paying attention. Everybody there? Cool. Rad. Awesome. All right. So basically, that way I would have asked that, because we didn't really ask her anything about her workouts aside from the fact that she does CrossFit and she's, said it's a little too hard. And now we're just going straight to bar. Well, is that the right one for her? Right? Like, does she like to lift weights? If she likes to lift weights, she can lift weights, and she can still do that in a way where she's going to get great results, but it's not going to be as hard as CrossFit. It's something that she can do at home. Do we know how much time she can put towards it? We didn't ask her that either. Has she done anything at home in the past? Is she open to an at-home workout? What does she eat during the day aside from the fact that she skips breakfast? Like, we don't know any of those answers yet. So we haven't really, really dug deep into like what's actually going on and what she needs. And throughout the conversation is where you want to reaffirm, not just keep asking questions and then boom, So, and asking her if she wanted a recommendation for a workout. So you've got it bar blend to her. You sent just the one option. And what's hard with the one option, you guys, is if it's not the one, and I am talking to everybody, not just Shaylee. So if it's just one option and they come back and they don't like it, then you have to like scramble and be like, well, this could work for you too, right? But if you gave them 2 and told them why you're recommending those 2, how it's going to fit their needs based on all of the questions that you just did, then they know and they can look and go, okay, this is the one I'm leaning towards, right? And when you go back, you don't just go, what do you think? You can say, which one are you leaning towards, which is actually having them mentally pick a program. So again, they're getting that yes. So I will check it out for sure. Thanks for adding me to the group as well. And what group did you add her to? The challenge group? Because we don't want to add her in and have her get the value without actually taking the step first, right? Because Plush is going to be
No, she was just saying, add me to the group. Go ahead and add me.
okay. Well,
So
then
now I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I would be like, well, let's get you figured out first, because otherwise you're just going to toss you in there and you're going to be lost. That's what I would say to her. Does that make sense? Yeah. I would say, okay, so I'd be like, actually, I know I just recommended the bar program for you and definitely take a peek at it, but I was thinking this could work for you too, and figure out a different workout that you want to send to her. Probably 21 Day Fix Real Time would be a great program for her to start. And then I would say, and once we get that all figured out, yes, I can add you into the group, but I don't want to just throw you in there willy-nilly without a plan. You're going to be lost. But okay, hope that those tips help you. Where did these lines on my screen come from? That's so weird. I don't know where they came from. I don't even know how to do that. Katie and Meg, I know you both had something you wanted to add, so why don't we close up the next 12 minutes with you guys sharing stuff, and then we can pop off?
Yeah, so to add to that conversation right there, once you send those two different programs that you're recommending for them, once they say which one they're leaning towards, I am such a visual person, and so for me, this works well, is I say, I'm pretty direct. I'm like, all right, cool, like, would you like to see your options to get started? And we have graphics for like every program, 6 weeks of work, bar blend. They're in the back office. They're on our team page. Like, search for them because they exist everywhere, even on Google Images. So, and like, it's just like Joan said, you're getting yeses all the way through. Like, yes, would you like me to send you a quick video? Yes. Cool. Here you go. I'll stick around. It's only a couple minutes. I'll be right here while you take a peek. And I like that because they're either going to say, oh, I can't watch it till tonight when I get home from work or after I put the kids to bed, or oh, like I can't watch it till tomorrow morning, because then you're setting up the follow-up where it makes it really easy to message them, because they then just told you when they're going to watch it. And so when you message them, you're like, hey, like, wasn't it awesome? What did you like best about it? If they haven't watched it, they're going to watch it right then. And if they have, then they're going to say what they like about it. And then the options things, I send like the graphic and I say, hey, like, which one are you leaning towards? Either health boost, fitness boost, or both. Based on your goals, I would recommend this. And then that gives them the 3 different options for that to get started. I see Joan recommending books, GoPro, yes. Another one for asking good questions is A Curious Mind. I read that quite a few years ago, but whenever I'm asking questions, for some reason, my mind goes back to that book. Like, when we're talking with people, it's all about them. And if you ever have a moment of like, you want to vomit on them, like Beachbody vomit, like your story, go to your phone real quick and just put like a memory jogger in the notes section. Okay, like, I want to elaborate on this. And then go post about it tomorrow night. Mm-hmm. You're posting, you can vomit all about yourself. Like, that's where people learn about you. That's where you can share your stories. You don't need to have these like private conversations of like all about you. Like, that's not what it's about.
That also just made me think too, Meg, is like the other thing, you guys, is those objections and stuff that you're getting. Like she just said, like, think about your story and jot it down. Like that's a post for you to make. Think about the objections that you're getting in those conversations too, because those are similar objections that everybody else is going to have. So if you're posting about why that's not an objection, it's actually a reason constantly on your feed, people are going to already have that objection or that excuse like eliminated before they even use it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to piggyback that, you're posting that on your social media, but also just to have these objections kind of save somewhere that are you. Like we have stuff in the file section of our team page. I just challenge you guys to go there, pick one that you like, tweak it, make your own, and then use it. So when somebody says the money excuse, you have something you can send them. When somebody has the time excuse, you have something that can send them. Like for me, when I did 80-day obsession, I saved so much money per month because I wasn't going out to eat as much. I wasn't drinking as much. And way back when I first started Beachbody, I saved a ton of money just in the first month because I wasn't going out to lunch like 3 days a week in town. I wasn't going to the vending machine. I wasn't stopping for coffee like every single morning. Like all those things add up. And depending on like the type of person you're talking with, you can tweak it. But for some people, it's like, hey, it's like going through the McDonald's drive-thru 30 times in a row. How much would that cost you? Shakeology is a meal every day, whether you have it for lunch or if you have it for a snack
Gosh,
or
just give me
breakfast. Like those things add up. It's just a matter of like getting people to think in a different way. So, yeah. What else?
You just reminded me of another post. Like it's things like that all the time, right? Like money objections, right? Like people are like, oh, they stop and get a breakfast sandwich, right? And like a coffee on their way to work, like almost every day, 5 times a week. That coffee, I don't care if you go to Dunkin' Donuts or McDonald's or like wherever you go, that coffee, let's say it's on the cheaper end, like McDonald's or Dunkin'. It's like $2, $3, and then you get your egg sandwich or whatever, and that's like another $3. So minimum you're spending $5, right? And if you go to Starbucks, you're definitely spending like $6, $8, $10, $12, right? If you're doing that. Today I went because I was just like in Freeport, and I went to Bow Street and I grabbed a thing of eggs, 12 eggs, and I grabbed a whole packet of shredded cheese, and I went home and I made myself a breakfast sandwich. And I was like, I just spent $3.23 on 12 eggs and a package of cheese. Like that is less money than it costs for one breakfast sandwich. And I can make 12 of them. But people are telling me that they don't have the money to sign up because they can't drink Shakeology, which is like the best thing that you can put in your body for $4 a day. Like that's just bullshit. You're spending the money somewhere. It's just not a priority to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
That was
what
just-
I found was I saved XYZ. Do you think this could happen for you? Do you think you could save money? Because most people will come back and say, yes. Like as soon as you start to give real life examples, they're going to be like, oh yeah, crap, I do that too, you know? So, yeah,
ask
I
them where
challenge
they
you guys
fit
to
it
go to
in.
the, what's
Yeah.
that?
I said, yeah, ask them where they could fit it in or how they could fit it in and give them like an idea of how.
Mm-hmm. Did we
You
talk
said
about
something-
follow-ups?
You said something else in our chat. Yeah, I think it was that maybe.
I don't know.
Me neither.
Yeah, you paid. I know. Just
I'll share
remember.
my tip.
Go,
Yeah.
go, Katie.
You
Go.
go.
It's kind of not as far along into the objections, but I've been guilty in the past of sending out an invite and somebody said, no thanks. And I'm like, okay. And then just moving on. And then when I want to follow up with them, I'm like, how do I even follow up with them? They just said no thanks. And so now instead of just, saying, okay, no problem, I'm like, oh, that's awesome, or okay, no worries. Do you have something else that's working for you? Just asking like another question so that I can actually get one of those deeper objections, kind of like you guys are talking about now. Like, and sometimes it is, no, I just don't have the time for something like that. Then that's something that I can then follow up later and be like, hey, or I can build off that and say, do you have 20 minutes? And so digging deeper than the no thanks has been working really well for me. And the money objection too, because a lot of times they'll be like, no, I just can't afford, what you're doing or something like that. And it allows you to kind of go and give those other objections. Combat those other objections. And then the money one I just had to add, I always, which I think people are fearful of when they get the money objections, they either just say, oh, well, you could save money or take that route, or they're like, okay. I always, the money objection, talk about the coaching opportunity, because it was a struggle for me to buy my challenge pack when I first started. And so definitely relating to them, but saying, what if I could help you earn your money right back and then some? And then they're always like, wait, what? So not to be fearful of kind of leading with the coaching opportunity when it comes, when they give the money objection. So those are my tips.
Chicks dig it. Wait till you see what I just posted on Instagram. All right, anything else while we're on here, you guys? We did pretty good at making this call less than an hour. It's got 2 minutes. 2 minutos. Are you feeling more confident about what to do? Do you feel like you could rewatch this and then maybe go peek at some of like the tools and resources that we have in the team page in the file section to like help you out with like honing this in? Do we feel like maybe we just need to keep things like a little bit more simple? Like we don't have to overthink it. We just have to start conversations. And then from there, it's okay to continue the conversation on them and not start talking about something else. And it's okay to have like a conversation as if you were sitting in person. It's like you're taking interest in that person. That's it. You're taking interest in them and you're asking them the right questions, better questions, so that you get information that you can help them, so you can serve them, so you can offer the value to them. You're building that value and that reassurance throughout. You have to be the confidence maker because at this point, they don't really know what we have to offer, but we do. Awesome. I'll get this call up. You guys, you can also just go over to the YouTube page. The YouTube channel too is always there for you. And that has all of our archived calls too. There are so many in there about conversations. And what the funniest thing is it hasn't really changed much. Like I think it's so hysterical that like, sitting on a plane next to Katie and what happened? You had like my laptop because your phone died. So you didn't have like the whatever, but you needed like to say something to her. And I had my phone and I was able to just shoot it over to my laptop so she could grab it because we say the same things. It's all the same stuff. So like, it's just the conversation template, but also that conversation by, that National Wake Up Call should be in the archives by Kim Fitzpatrick. Also fantastic one about having those conversations and asking the right questions, you guys. So if you're feeling like your conversations suck or they just need a little bit of tweaking or you're feeling a little bit like, insecure about them, you don't have that confidence yet, listen to this stuff. Re-listen to this call. Listen to Kim Fitzpatrick's call. Go look at the conversation template. But listen to these things while you're doing work. Fill your brain with the things that you need to hear all the time. That's what personal development is. It's personal development for you. So just because somebody else listens to something doesn't mean that that's the right book for you. Listen to the things that you need help with, that you need to work on, and that are going to propel you forward in your business. And if conversations are one of them, go do your research and start watching other calls on conversations. Go look at the conversation template. Go watch those resources and help yourself with them. Because if you guys can nail your conversations, this business becomes real easy. Like you can sell ice to an Eskimo. I know we're not supposed to like say sales, but like the whole tactic of like the yes thing, it comes from sales. It's actual sales statistic that if you can get somebody to say yes 3 times before the sale, it's like a done deal. So go get those yeses. All right. I like you guys. I love you guys. Have a good night.